So my last video in connection with the wild robot was a tragedy, to say the least. I felt as though the video was very poorly shot, and it was essential that I redo the video and give you guys a quality review that you deserve. I do want to apologize in advance, but after sitting on it, I thought to myself, it was a lot of runaround speech in connection with this movie. And I feel as though a movie like this needs much more detail in connection with a review that's supposed to be handled by a YouTuber. So for that, I want to apologize. And I hope you like this one. Guys, back on the cinema scale today, we are looking at the wild robot. I will tell you this, there was not one dry eye in that movie theater after the credits started to roll. Shipwrecked on a deserted island, a robot named Roz must learn to adapt to its new surroundings. Building relationships with the native animals, Roz soon develops a parental bond with an orphaned gosling. And yeah, that essentially is what the wild robot is about. A robot in the wild domesticating itself. The film is directed by Chris Sanders. We know he comes from Lilo and Stitch and The Croods. And so with a director of this caliber, you are going to expect a movie that will be equivalent to past production. It also is a Dreamworks film. For those of you who have died or crawled under a rock for the past couple of years, you know, or may not know, that Dreamworks is the birth studio of Shrek. And we anticipate Shrek 5. We're eager to see Shrek 5. But with a Dreamworks movie, sometimes it's hit or miss. You ever get that vibe from Dreamworks? It's like whack-a-mole. Sometimes the mole is up and sometimes it's down. But if you take your mallet, aka your ticket, and you're willing to swing it into the direction of this movie, you will come off with victory. The film focuses on a robot that accidentally ends up stranded in the wild with the one purpose of serving its inhabitants. And because the robot is programmed to serve, it naturally starts to analyze the patterns of the forest, the animal life, etc. And after a tragic set of circumstances, it finds itself in the company of a young baby gosling. Did anybody say Ryan? And so from that moment, the movie has purpose and focus. This robot is going to raise this young gosling from infancy into adulthood. Now, along the way, you will find that mixed into this dynamic, awesome plot are some phenomenal actors that you just have to give a shout out to. People are sleeping on Ving Rhames as Thunderbolt. He plays one of the birds in the film that is able to crucially assist our beautiful Bright Bill. Bright Bill being played by Kit Connor. That is the bird that needs help in question. And then Roz. Let's talk about Roz for a moment. Roz being played by Lupita Nyong'o. I did not know that was her. When I'm watching the movie, I swear I thought it was some type of Tony Stark robot voice going on there. At one point, I thought it was Friday from Marvel, I swear. But it's nice to be able to know that these voices being portrayed, even Pedro Pascal as Fink the Fox, and even Catherine O'Hara, who plays Pinktail, the possum. Very, very gross character. But being able to see these voices in their unique element, and then not saying, hey, by the way, that's Catherine O'Hara, or hey, by the way, that's Kit Connor. It's nice to be able to watch a movie when you don't know the voices are the voices. Whereas in the Mario film, you clearly were able to identify, hey, by the way, that's Chris Pratt right there, or that's this person, or that's that person, or that's Seth Rogen. One thing that you will find in connection with a story like this is its theme is so powerful. I will say that it is a coming of age story combined with the theme of endurance and perseverance. The story being told here is perseverance, overcoming adversity, and that is clearly conveyed through this movie. Now, I watched this movie in Dolby Cinema format. Love the animation. For a story like that, with a theme like this, you're going to need powerful animation. There's a beautiful montage scene that brings this entire story to life. The vibrant colors, love the color scheme. And you'll note that in the beginning of the film, the animation is depicted one way, and then towards the middle of the film, towards the end, the animation also changes, which was a spectacle, to say the least. It's a film that you will find yourself entertained by thoroughly. You'll be engrossed right from the start of the film. It's a very fast-paced movie, but not too fast to the point where you can miss those beautiful details and those sterling elements that really makes going to the movies worthwhile. Now, if you do have young children and you want them to be involved in this movie, yes, they will love this movie because the movie is so diverse with the lessons that it teaches that you're able to connect with it as an adult. Children will be able to connect with it. And you're also going to be able to find that there is a measure of joy that is accomplished in this movie. It gives you that Iron Giant vibe. Anybody know, have you ever seen the Iron Giant? Big metallic robot comes down from God knows where, develops this friendship with the boy. That is the vibe that you get from this particular movie. Now, unlike the Iron Giant, this movie does not have a central villain. It's one of those movies where it's like the theme is the lesson, and that's really where you'll get your emotions from. It's not necessarily someone doing something wrong, but just everyday life, trying to overcome adversities, trying to adapt to new circumstances, trying to deal with changes and financial hardships. That is really the focal point and the essence and the lesson behind The Wild Robot. There is one post-credit scene in connection with this particular beautiful movie. It's not a post-credit scene that will make or break whether you get the full meaning of this movie, but it's just a little bit more to keep you holding on to those sentimental feelings that are just simmering as you sit there in your chair and you watch the yellow credits roll up on the screen. Strong animation. I was thoroughly impressed. I was shocked that DreamWorks, they did it again. Now, here's a fun fact. I didn't know, maybe you know, maybe you don't. DreamWorks Studios is founded by Steven Spielberg. So when you come across movies like this and you look at the founder or the mother of the studio, that makes perfect sense. So that was The Wild Robot, guys. How did this movie make you feel? Were you expecting this movie to be all that it was, or were you expecting it to be more? If you loved what you see, don't forget this movie is based on a series of books from 2016. So it did translate very well from book to screen. Other than that, click the next video if you want to know what other movies stirs up the emotional wagon.